What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down a quarterback football IQ quiz. So if you're not familiar with our quiz-style videos, what we're going to do is we're going to show a pre-snap look on the screen here. Then we're going to give you a series of questions about the pre-snap look to test your knowledge of the position and to test your knowledge of defensive coverages and offensive plays. So because this is a quarterback-focused video, receivers could get benefit out of this as well. Really, any offensive position could. It's going to be more so coverage-focused, like we said, and play concept-focused. So really being able to read a defense. So this first clip on the screen here, we're going to ask you guys just a simple question. And it's going to be, so the question in place is, what coverage do you think this would be on the screen? So we're going to give you a chance to pause the video in a second and think about it. But I want to preface that by saying anytime that you're trying to identify a coverage as a quarterback, whether you're a youth quarterback, middle school, high school, college, NFL, whatever it is, you need a pre-snap process. And your pre-snap process is just the process of elimination when you're trying to decide what coverage it is. So your pre-snap process should be looking at the safeties, then the corners, and then the box. So that tells you what coverage it might be. So you guys can go ahead and pause the video and think about your answer. What coverage do you think this would be? So go ahead and pause the video and think about your answer. All right, so guys, now, if you said that this was a cover 4 defense, that would be 100% correct. Now, if you said it was a cover 2 defense, I see why you say that, and we're going to explain why that's wrong. So obviously, this is a 2 high safety concept, 2 deep safeties. And a lot of times what younger quarterbacks do when they see 2 deep safeties is they just automatically assume, oh, it's cover 2. The number of the safeties does not dictate what coverage it is. The coverage is dictated by how many deep zones are taken away, and there are ways that you can identify that. So obviously we look to the 2 high safeties. When we look and read these safeties, we don't want to just look for the number of safeties. We want to look at different characteristics of them. We want to look at how deep they are, what's their stance, are they really wide, are they really tight, whatever. You want to look for those 3 characteristics. So depth, width, and stance. Now, when we look at the corners can tell us a little bit something about the coverage, but it's not everything. The corners will always lie to us. Safeties will tell the truth. But sometimes, if you're watching film on a team and you see that their corners love to play off and they love to play cover 4, then you see that on the field. Okay, you could determine that if they don't like to disguise their coverage. But as you play higher level defenses, these corners will screw with you guys. They'll act like they're playing off right here. Then they'll come down, get hands, and then sit in the flats, right? They'll act like they're going to be pressing, and then they bail off. So you're better off looking at the safeties to identify what coverage it is based on those characteristics. And we'll talk about those in a second. Now, remember I said also you want to look at the box. When you look at the box, what you're trying to determine is if they're bringing pressure. Does it look like zone? Is this like overhang defender right here in zone coverage or man coverage? Does it look like they're bringing a blitz? And as you can see here, it looks like we got 4 down linemen and then 3 linebackers. So it's a 4-3 defensive front, with this being the middle linebacker. You always want to try to identify the Mike, aka the middle linebacker. So now, like I said, that you see all that. You see 2 high safeties, corners are off, looks like a 4-3. How do we know if it's cover 2 or cover 4? And we know that it's cover 4 based on the safety's width and their stance. So they're a little bit deeper. They're probably around, 5, 10, almost 15 yards back. So that's probably the depth of a cover 2 safety as well. But think about what cover 2 is, you guys. Cover 2 is when the corners sit in the flats and the safety is in charge of the deep half of the field, leaving this like whole shot zone right here, right? So that safety has a lot of ground to cover if he's lined up on the hash right here, even with this defensive end. So if it was cover 2, he'd be a little bit wider. Second thing we want to look at is their stance, you guys. If he has to cover all of this ground over here, he's going to be in something we call a backpedal stance or skinny feet, which means, like, again, a backpedal stance. So see how he's in more of a squatted stance? See how this safety's in more of a squatted stance? Because in cover 4, it's very weak against the run. And in cover 4, these safeties are in run support. They want to crash down and help out the linebackers. So they're going to be in more of a squatted linebacker stance because they're only in charge of their deep fourth, because they have this corner dropping as well to take away that deep zone. So if you guys said cover 4, that would be 100% correct. So now let's get to this next play concept. So this next play here is going to be like an actual play concept. We're going to play the clip full speed at the end of this once we talk about our question, but it's going to be more so about your reads as a quarterback. So this passing concept is going to be a dagger concept, and we'll explain what a dagger concept is in a second. But if you're a quarterback or wide receiver and you guys would like to train with us this offseason, we're going to be traveling out to 10 more cities across the entire country for 2-day long QB and wide receiver training camps this offseason, you guys. So So our next camp is going to be in Las Vegas, Nevada. Then we'll be heading out to Seattle, Washington, Chicago, Illinois, Newark, New Jersey, Birmingham, Alabama, Houston, Texas, Boston, Massachusetts, Columbus, Ohio, Boise, Idaho, and finishing off our tour in Los Angeles, California. So guys, if you want some more information on that, you want to sign up, go to that very first link in the description below. Our first, I would say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 camps are completely sold out. Our Vegas and Seattle camps don't have any more remaining spots, but we do have spots in our Chicago all the way to Los Angeles camp. Guys, the reason why these camps sell out so fast is just simply because we limit spots. We don't want 1 million people there because we can't work with you individually and give you individualized coaching. So guys, make sure you take advantage of it. Go to that very first link in the description below. That's where you can find the location of the camp, the times, where we'll be having it, and where you can sign up. So again, guys, very first link in that description below. Let's get to this next clip. So now, this passing concept, like we said, is a dagger concept. Now, this is from the Miami Dolphins. So obviously they have a pretty unique offense. Mike McDaniels runs a lot of unique motions. He obviously has the fastest player in the NFL, Tyreek Hill. So they can do a lot of creative things. But one thing you got to understand about football is the formations may differ, the motions may differ, but passing concepts are still passing concepts, no matter what level of football you are playing at. So this right here is a dagger concept. What we have is we have this outside receiver. Tyreek Hill is motioning to the outside receiver spot. The slot receiver is going to be running a seam. Outside receiver is going to be running like a deep 15 to 18-yard dig. And then our running back is running a swing out of the backfield. Okay? So this play concept is called a dagger, not because it's a dig from the outside and a go from the slot, because it's not a go from the slot. It's a seam. They call it a dagger just simply because the intersection point right here looks like the handle of a knife. That's something I didn't know until like a little while ago, you guys. So it's just good to know. If you ever hear that dagger terminology, that is what it means. You're going to have a seam from the slot and a dig from the outside. Now, this play concept is great versus a cover 4 defense. So like we just diagnosed, we talked about a cover 4 defense. I'm giving you the coverage on this question. So we have 4 down linemen. This is our outside backer who ends up dropping and playing the flats. This is our middle backer, other outside backer, and this corner drops to his 4th, safety to his 4th, safety to his 4th, and this corner to his 4th. So let's talk about the play. On every single play concept, a quarterback has a read key defender. It's who he's reading to determine where he goes with the ball. So the question in place, you guys, is if we have a dagger concept versus a cover 4 defense, who is our read key defender as a quarterback? I'll repeat it. If we have a dagger concept versus a cover 4 defense, who is our read key defender as a QB? So you guys can go ahead and pause the video and think about your answer. So pause the video. All right, let's break this thing down. So if you guys said that it was this free safety on the right side of the field, that would be 100% correct. Now, there are 2 read key defenders on this, like most progressions. Progressions is going from read 1 to read 2 to read 3. You're working your way through your reads. That's what progressions are, you guys. So the free safety on the right side would be my read. If he starts to backpedal with this seam, what opens up? This dig from the outside wide receiver, from Tyreek Hill. Now, the one guy, we want to throw that dig first window, because if my eyes are working to the right as a QB, that middle linebacker is probably going to be dropping off to the right. So the second window of the dig, which just means like a later window across the field, is going to be taken away. So the one defender who could take away that first window would be this outside linebacker. Now, usually this dig route is ran deep enough to where the outside backer is a non-factor. We could throw it over his head, just a little bit of a touch pass. As long as we throw it on time, it won't be an issue. But sometimes I've seen this guy will drop way back and take away the first window, and the mic takes away the second window. So what do we throw? We throw the swing route from my running back right here. So if you guys said your read key defenders would be the safety on the right and the outside linebacker, that would be 100% correct. So I'm going to play at full speed, and then we'll break it down a little bit as well. So obviously we have that seam coming from the slot. The safety is backpedaling. Right now, we are thinking that we are going to throw this dig unless this outside linebacker takes it away. But you see how the outside linebacker is a little bit occupied with this swing route. So we throw the dig on time. Tyreek Hill is wide open right here for an easy gain downfield. So I'm going to play at full speed, you guys, but a dagger concept, if you guys ever work that, it is a great passing concept versus a cover 4 defense for a QB and a wide receiver.